Hey, you. Welcome back. My name's Jack, the snack that smiles back. You must be here to find out who the a-holes are today. Well, I'll provide the stories, you provide the... everything else, and let's get started. God, it's beautiful, but it's so hot. Just like you. This story by Duck Socks Rocks. Would I be the a-hole if I ruined my brother-in-law's life? My husband and I were really close with my brother-in-law for a long time. He ended up becoming an alcoholic and drug addict. Eventually, he started threatening me and got into a fight with my husband. We had to move because he was harassing us. After a year, he and his mum and girlfriend convinced us he was sober. We had no experience with addicts and we trusted them. We agreed to rent a house together. It soon became clear he was still drinking, and soon after that, he started meth again. He and his girlfriend didn't want to work and wouldn't clean up after themselves or their kid. I was doing all of the housework with no help. It soon became overwhelming because I have a health condition and have 2 kids of my own to care for, one of which is autistic. This ticks off brother-in-law, and he would get drunk on our porch every evening and yell to his girlfriend, who was supposed to be my best friend, about what a lazy piece of poop I am, how he hates me and wants me dead. Specifically, I want to pull her out by her hair and light her on fire, and other terrible things I won't repeat. When he started breaking our stuff and yelling at me to clean it up, we all got into a fight. That night, my family left and abandoned them with the rent. Sneaky, but justifiable. He messaged my husband apologizing a couple times, but he never even opened the messages. Then he started sending me his pics, the phallic kind. A few on New Year's, but I thought it was just a number mix-up and blocked the number. Then he sent some in July from his girlfriend's number. It was obviously him. I also noticed there was text on the picture. It was a website and username. Naturally, I looked it up and he had hundreds of pics on there, most of which he was wearing my underwear. What the frick? I ignored him, but yesterday he texted me from a different number. Wanna see my stuff? And sent another picture today. He's not going to stop. My husband says to just block his number, but he uses a text site. He can get another number easy. My friends say get a restraining order, but I don't want him knowing our address, and a piece of paper isn't going to stop a tweaker. We have called the sheriff and cops in the past, and they don't seem to care. He's been to jail. He's not worried about that. My husband has beat his butt and gave him a concussion. He's not worried about that. Everyone thinks he's infatuated with me, but I think he just hates me, and this is his way to control and get revenge on me. He also has pictures wearing other women's underwear, so I think it's whatever is convenient. What I want to do is send him his own pictures back, one from the website with his face in it too. I want to send those texts to his girlfriend. I want to send his girlfriend the picture he has on that site where he's standing over her sleeping mom with his stuff out. If I can't make him stop, I want to make him regret ever messing with me and my family. Everyone is telling me not to. God, I want to. So, this is quite severely a unique issue. As a third person to the situation, part of me wants to just say, no, leave it to authorities, do what you can in legal matters of things, but, oh, if my partner was dealing with this, I would do everything in my power to name and shame this guy. Let's see if anyone has some supportive legal advice, though. Don't do that. Call the frickin' cops instead. If you do that, not only that you are doing something only a jerk would do, you're also doing something illegal. He can get you in a lot of trouble. And on top of that, it will ruin his life, which usually doesn't end good for everyone. God knows what he might do to you or your husband or anyone. But to be fair, she already has spoken to the cops, and they don't really seem to have any power or ability to stop this. At least they're not actively pursuing any. What you are going through is horrific, and I absolutely understand your need for revenge, and a short, sharp shock might be just what he needs. I would just do a bit of research into revenge porn legislation in your area, although I would seriously hope that if the cops aren't bothered about him sending you those pics, that they wouldn't be bothered by you forwarding them on. Question is, would his girlfriend really be that bothered if she's equally as nuts as he is? I'm so surprised and upset for you that this is not classed as some sort of harassment, and you aren't getting the support you need. It's worth looking into the restraining order because of, as you say, it won't stop him. Then doesn't so many breaches result in fines and jail time? So it may end up with a solid consequence for him. Nata, what he is doing to you is terrible. Don't retaliate, just document everything and compile a case against him. Consider changing your number and not giving it to anyone on that side of the family. Without making a judgment on whether this is an a-hole move, I want to say don't do it. Brother-in-law will have the satisfaction that his attempts to control and anger you worked. You'll be giving him reinforcement. He is also likelier to escalate than accept that you won. It sounds like you have limits on what you can tolerate ethically, but he doesn't have any such shame or empathy. People like that will always win in a race to the bottom. I understand what you're saying, but I don't want to. But I understand. Info! What sort of life is there even left for you to ruin? But in all seriousness, it doesn't sound like the girlfriend will really listen to you all that much or will find a way to wave it away. The way I see it is that her mother is a direct victim of that abuse and of predation. If you feel some sense of guilt or conflict over whether you're just seeking revenge or payback by showing the underwear pictures and texts, there's no question at all that she should be aware of what has happened and decide on her terms how to proceed, knowing all of the information. In fact, I think you have an obligation to show her the pictures. There's a fully identifiable picture on a public website of her unknowingly sleeping next to an exposed manhood. That's horrible. She has the right to know. I'm sorry for what you're going through, OP. Would be easy if we all just grabbed our pitchforks and stormed him, but what do you think? Do you think there's any other way she could sort this issue out? At this point, it really seems that some sort of legal naming and shaming is the best process. But of course, I hate encouraging mob mentality like that, so what do you think? This story from a throwaway. Am I the a-hole for being happy about my grandfather's death? My 16 female grandfather, 92 male, passed away from complications from Alzheimer's 3 weeks ago. I knew that this was going to happen soon, and to be honest, I am happy that he passed away. He was suffering so much in the past few years, and it got to the point where he couldn't even recognize anyone in our family. He was my last living grandparent, but it didn't feel like he has been living for the past year. We had a socially distant funeral, and my parents, aunt, uncle, and cousin were all upset and crying. I'm not happy that he's gone, but I'm happy that he isn't suffering anymore. I feel like such an a-hole because everyone is saying how it hurts to lose someone you love. I did love him. I just am not upset about losing him. I talked to one of my friends, and he said that I'm an a-hole and that he wonders how my heart can pump being so ice cold. I just feel so awful for not feeling sad about my grandfather's death. Am I the a-hole? Nata! Everyone processes grief differently. You feeling relieved that he doesn't have to suffer anymore is nothing to feel bad about in my opinion. Not the a-hole. It sounds like you've been grieving your grandfather's death in advance and had already made peace with the situation. There's also nothing wrong with taking comfort in the fact that his suffering is over after a long and difficult illness. Other people in your family are doing their grieving now. They may not see or appreciate that you've already processed your feelings, and they're interpreting it as a refusal to grieve or even happiness about his death. You can help them understand by changing your messaging. Phrases like, I miss Grandpa terribly, but I'm happy that he's at peace now. That communicates relatable feelings are what you need. Watching a loved one suffer is heartbreaking, and you probably accepted this was going to happen already. You shouldn't feel bad at all. Grieving happens differently for everyone. This is a rather short one, open and shut case, absolutely not the a-hole for genuinely just being happy that someone you loved and care about isn't suffering anymore. I still wanted to highlight this story though, because I feel it's something that a lot of people should know.
Hello, hi, yes, no, don't worry, you're not tripping out on too much tea. I am a talking teapot. Just wondering if you could like and subscribe this video. Wait, you can't subscribe a video. You get my point. I'm a talking teapot. Am I meant to make sense anyway?
This story by Capt. Keller. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend that we can't get married until she severs ties with her family? I, male 28, and my girlfriend, 28 as well, have been dating for nearly 3 years now. She's the only breadwinner in her home for the better part of the last 5 years. Her deadbeat father has not worked for more than a month, collectively, throughout the year for the last 2 decades. Last year, he took off, saying that he found some work in another state. Fast forward 7 months, the police arrive at my girlfriend's place to arrest her for taking a loan and running off with the money. It turns out that he had made her sign some documents saying that it's for her new passport. They were actually agreements for a loan of $125K. My girlfriend signed them without checking them, as he deliberately asked her to sign them while she was leaving for work in a hurry. At the time of the arrest, she made $30K per month, and by the end of the month, had nothing left because she had to pay for rent, electricity, food, her sister's education, and her mother's medical bills. So basically, there's no way she can afford to pay that money off. I told her to ask her aunts, uncles, and older sister for help, and I'll contribute too. They all backed out. I eventually ended up paying out that debt out of my own pocket. Conveniently, a few months afterwards, her father came back home, and the whole family sided with her father to forgive him. I almost called the police myself, but my girlfriend begged me into standing down. Soon after, he lost his temper and struck her mother and started abusing her. India has a woman's helpline that sends a cop in civilian attire to moderate the issue then and there, and also to assess if more action is required. For this, her whole family turned on her for bringing help in and bringing shame to the family. Her older sister more than anyone. Her older sister had gotten married just a few years ago, and her husband had asked my girlfriend to bankroll her wedding, which was all of her saving of $80K, and promised to pay her back. She hasn't seen a single penny of that money. Some days ago, we were discussing what all we had gone through to get her life back on track. We were happy, and she popped the question. I wanted to say yes, but I told her that we can't take the next step to have a future together unless she cuts ties with her toxic family. She says that I'm asking for too much, but I've told her that this is the only way for us. Verdict? Oh, that is some tough love, but so necessary. She sounds like she's got something similar to Stockholm Syndrome with her family. It is a harsh ultimatum to make, but I understand where you're coming from. Though depending on how big her family is, I don't think these 3 people should represent everyone that she's connected with. Maybe if anything, make it a rule that she is not allowed to give them any kind of money. After all, if you're getting married, I'd assume you're gonna get joint bank accounts, and that money will be yours too. Let's see what others say though. No a-holes here. Her family is toxic. You have every right to want to plan a life without being asked for constant handouts. You may also face obligations if you are married and your wife cannot say no to her family. Your girlfriend is not an a-hole in my opinion. She is a victim of her toxic family. However, it is now her choice to remain enmeshed with them, leaving her future to the whims of their financial needs and emotional manipulations. She may never be able to break free of them. It's hard when you've been raised to cater to entitled people. She can't see how crazy the dynamic is to people like you on the outside. But if she can't break contact or maintain proper boundaries, it is too much of a risk for you to commit to a long-term future. You wouldn't just be marrying her, but her entire family. They don't deserve to be in her life. However, I don't like ultimatums. I don't think it's right that you have asked her to cut off her family. Perhaps ask her to not lend them any money or step back from being involved. Dad sounds like a right piece of work. At this point, I don't think there's any other option. By the sounds of it, she's easily guilt-tripped into giving all her money to her family, and it's hard to move past that without a wake-up call. And even though I also don't like ultimatums, this time I feel it would be the only way to get her to realize that these people are toxic and it's no way to live. This is a sucky situation and it's really unfortunate. In the end, you want what's best for her mental health and your relationship. Given the issues with the father could prettily severely ruin your life down the line, this seems like a reasonable request. That family is incredibly abusive to your girlfriend. There is no reason for anyone to allow that, but some people have difficulty with those types of boundaries. For that reason, your girlfriend isn't the a-hole either. The only people who are a-holes here are your partner's family. Screw them. This story by AmiTheA. Am I the a-hole for throwing away my girlfriend's tarot cards? I, 27 female, have been dating my girlfriend, 29 female, for 3 years and we live together. She is very much a free spirit, which is interesting because she is also an engineer, but she loves a lot of kooky things in terms of decorations, clothes, beauty products, everything. She has always been into witchy things, as she calls them. She likes horoscopes, tarot cards, palm reading, crystal rocks, and much more. She tells me she doesn't honestly believe in magic, but she considers it to be kind of like roleplay, where she gets to pretend and sometimes make money off of it. She has made a side hustle out of it since before we met, and it does pretty well, I guess. I hate this stuff. I think it is delusion, and it just makes me uncomfortable overall. She is a smart lady, and I think she is making herself look foolish by spending her free time lighting candles in a special order or whatever. I especially hate that she does tarot readings for other people, because I think that this is just scamming money from other poor deluded souls, and promising guidance where none exists. But she strongly disagrees and gets angry with me for saying it. Her argument is that when a person comes back too often, or seems emotional, or shares too much information with her, she tells them that tarot is not the place for help. She will still do a reading, but says part of her magical persona involves telling people that individuals have power to change their own story and have responsibility to take care of themselves, blah blah, as if that helps what she is doing. She sometimes compares it to being a magician. Most people know it isn't real, but if some people don't, you can gently break it to them without being mean. I think that she is doing it more like a cult, where there are actually lots of people who honestly believe that spells will solve their problems, and I'm sometimes worried my girlfriend is one of those believers, despite what she says. That's the context. The primary issue, we had a fight about it, and she went to work. I threw away her tarot deck on impulse because it made me angry to even look at it anymore, and maybe it would encourage her to stop all of this. She came home and she is ticked off. She says she has had that deck for 15 years and it hurts her to lose it, even though it is just a generic deck and could easily be replaced. And she thinks I am taking this argument too far, but I think I am trying to wake up an actually very smart person with a lot of potential and get them on track to a better life instead of playing make-believe all the time. I know I may sound like an a-hole, but I think it's tough love and trying to shock someone into reality. Interested to hear what other people think. Even just on impulse, your attempts to persuade someone that you are right in an argument is to throw away the objects that you were saying they shouldn't have as a way to persuade them? How does that persuade them? Yeah, hi sweetie, so I don't want this cat anymore, so to persuade you that we shouldn't have this cat, I'm gonna throw it out the window. Are you crying because you agree with me? You want tough love? Here's some tough love. You are a thief. You took property that was not yours and disposed of it without permission. It does not matter what the property was. It did not belong to you. You are a judgmental snot. Her hobbies don't harm you in the least. And I say this as someone who thinks tarot is a total crock. You are disrespectful and mean. You think that somehow you get to tell your girlfriend what to do. I have news for you. You do not. You are about to be single. If she has even one iota of self-respect, she is going to dump your thieving butt and never look back. Yeeta, just because you don't like something that she owns, what gives you the right to throw it away? Who the hell made you king of her property? You suck, and I hope she finds someone more mature. OP challenges it. I don't think it's a matter of not liking something, it's more like I feel like it's something that keeps her out of reality and at the risk of actually buying into things like flat earth and homeopathy, and I am actually concerned that she wants to hold onto it like a baby blanket. I genuinely want her to do well in life and succeed and not get dragged into anything weird. God, you're a patronizing a-hole. She's an adult woman and you talk about her like she's a child. I'd bet $10 that the OP never really has been at ease with her degree or profession, and this is just another way to try and knock her down a peg and avoid taking her seriously. It's a set of moves directly out of the mediocre jerk playbook. I hope she sees the attitude behind this condescending theft, because it is theft, and moves on with her life. No one should be treated like a child in their relationship, irrespective of their hobbies or beliefs. Yeah, you're reaching with the flat earth thing. Honestly, it sounds like you're just throwing your toys out of your pram and looking for an excuse for it. Assume you're a gamer and she threw away your console. How would you feel? OP's not backing down. A console would be worth a whole lot more money than a tarot deck. She's upset about it, so I will pay for a new deck to apologize, but it's only like $20. Sentimental value is priceless. You've taken something from her that meant a lot to her and seem to be hell-bent on defending your actions. It's about so much more than only like $20. Her being an engineer and involved in research and whatnot is part of what attracted me to her. I value rational and logical thinking, and she seems to have that, but she has this whole other side that is the entire opposite. Is it so wrong that I don't like it? You value rational and logical thinking, then stop being an irrational, emotional little crybaby. So quite unanimously, no one likes the OP here. But there is this comment that highlights everyone being the a-holes in this situation. Everyone sucks here. My grandma taught me tarot and palmistry as a way of connecting to my culture and family history. That side of my family is Romani Jew. When I was 13. So your girlfriend calling it a hobby is insulting. She's playing with universal energies she doesn't understand. There's no such thing as a magical persona. What the frick is that BS? You're either in touch with your spiritual energy or you're not. That being said, you don't get to throw away other people's belongings because you got your panties in a twist because your little brain can't comprehend anything beyond your own ego. Both of you have calcified pineal glands and money auras, to be honest. I wanted to add that one in because it highlights the whole issue of cultural appropriation. Would you consider this cultural appropriation in a way? Someone who enjoys that part of the culture with tarot cards and such, does that make them an a-hole or just someone who likes to dive into that area of culture? She does make money off it, so is she taking advantage of it in some way? Like, where exactly would you draw the line between someone just enjoying and appreciating something versus appropriating it because, oh, I'm spiritual? What do you think? That does us for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're looking at my face right now, that means you liked this video. So all I appreciate is if you would like the video back. Because if you like it, then I'll like you for liking the video, and then I can make more stuff for you to like that you can like, and it'll be just a constant cycle of never-ending pain and suffering. So don't do it alone, suffer with me. I don't know where I was going with that. If you haven't subscribed but you want to see some more content, then please, what are you waiting for? Click that notification bell so you're always updated on the latest content. And hey, why not check out some other videos while you're here? But anyway, that does me for today. Thank you again for watching. You're an amazing person. I love rambling at you, and I look forward to you staring at me beyond the abyss again soon. I can't close well. Don't at me, okay? My name's been Jack. Bye-bye. You're amazing. See ya!